Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Just Make It Pretty podcast. Today, we are talking about the silent killer of builder marketing. So, what is causing your buyers to lose trust with you before they ever even visit your model? That's what I'm here to talk about today. And today is a solo episode. So, I will be talking about what most builders assume the problem is. Typically, they think they have a traffic problem, or maybe they're not doing enough marketing. But in reality, many of these builders actually have a fragmentation problem. So their ads, their website, their sales team, and their follow-up are all telling different stories. And so their buyer experience is fragmented. And your buyers don't see all of those as different items. They see it as one journey. And so when one piece doesn't align, that's when the trust starts to erode. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So if you are interested, please stick around and let's get right into it. Welcome to the Just Make It Pretty podcast, the marketing and mindset show for home builders and beyond. I'm your host, Sarah Haynes, and around here we go beyond pretty pictures and we get honest about what's working, what's not, and what it really takes to build better brands, better experiences, and better teams. You'll find creative ideas, practical strategies, and conversations that actually matter. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get started. Okay, so I want to start this episode with kind of a story about what our buyers experience, right? So I actually have been on this journey for myself. I am looking to purchase a new home. And I want to tell you what I did and how that is in terms of what buyers are experiencing today. I started looking for a new home about a year ago. It's been a long time. I moved very slowly. But we decided finally where we wanted to build, what area, and I started looking at new homes. And being in obviously the new home industry, I had an idea of what the process looks like and all of that. So I was trying to choose a builder and an area that I wanted to be in. So I started looking at every website I could get my hands on. I started looking at social media. I was searching Zillow. I was filling out forms, getting information, right? I was doing all of my online research that I think a lot of our buyers do. And then I did something that I think freaks out a lot of salespeople, but I traveled to where I want to move to, and I started walking into these model homes. Now, I did not set up an appointment. I did not tell them that I was coming. So I was just that crazy walk-in that came in on one Saturday and already knew a bunch about the builder. Now, this is where I saw a lot of the salespeople that I talked to on this process. They were like surprised because I already knew about them. I already knew about their company. I already knew where their communities were. I already knew everything that was on their website. Because I had done that research, I was really looking not so much to learn about them. I wanted to walk through the floor plans, right? I wanted to feel it in real time. But I was also looking to connect the dots. Like, is what I saw online true? Is everything cohesive? And I feel like some of the builders did a really great job. And some of them, it actually started breaking down for me. I started realizing like, oh, they say all these things on their social, but like, I just don't see that when I get there. And so it was a lot of me just like actually experiencing a lot of the things that I talk about with buyer journeys. And it really got me thinking about how important that continuity and that connection in that process really is to our buyers, and how all of these little shifts can happen so like subconsciously. Like I wasn't consciously sitting there and being like, I saw this post, and so now I want to ask you this question, and then I'm going to compare the answers. That's not what I was doing. It was all on vibes, if you will. And I could tell when I was like, no, I just don't like it, or no, this just feels weird. Or if I saw on the website the community looked a certain way, and then I got there and I was like, oh, this does not look like the website. I was like, I don't trust them. And I feel like a lot of builders are in that space where they want to make everything look as great as possible, obviously, but we're ending up fragmenting that journey. So that's what I want to talk about today. And I want to talk about how your buyers, when they are walking into those model homes, whether they have an appointment or not, they are already skeptical. It's easier to disprove something or to like look for things to disprove what you think than to approve it. And so This is not because, the homes are bad or the salespeople are bad or like they've done something wrong. It's really about the marketing and what happens in person because they're meeting a builder online and they've already met you online. You just haven't actually talked to them yet. And so I want to go through where people could be seeing you. Obviously, your website, Instagram, Zillow, Google reviews, your emails, they've reached out to you. Maybe they've even seen competitors' floor plans and they've compared you. But this is all part of their journey. This is all part of one thing for them. When that becomes connected and they feel that sense of trust throughout that entire thing, their confidence grows in you. But when they feel little disconnects, that's where hesitation begins. And hesitation is what's actually killing your sales. And so that's what I want to talk about today. So let's talk about how buyers judge brands, right? So research shows that people form opinions about a website, a business in about 50 milliseconds. Now, we also know that nearly 90%, maybe over 90% at this point of buyers start their home search online. So that means that 90% of your buyers, at least, are making a decision about you within 50 milliseconds. And that's not even anyone who has interacted with you yet. They've not come to your model. So by the time they've come to you and you're actually talking to them, they've already interacted with your business dozens of times, hundreds of times possibly. And that's all throughout your online profile. So the model home, we know this, right? It's not their first impression. And but the inconsistencies in their idea about the company has already formed by the time they get there. So when sales slow down and we start seeing leads slow down, and builders say, we just need more ads, we need like more social media, we got to do more campaigns, we got to run more incentives. I'm here to talk about how that problem is not really the volume of marketing that you're doing. It's a fragmentation in the actual buyer's journey. So I want to talk about how marketing sales, your online sales counselors, and your leadership can all be doing a good job, right? Like marketing can be putting out great content on social media. They can be doing like the most engaging posts. They can be getting all these views, right? Everything showing your personality, all of this, right? And then sales can be doing a great job closing deals. They can be talking to all of your buyers. They can have a really full list. They get on top of all their tasks. And your online sales counselors, same thing. They're nurturing all your leads. They're getting a good conversion rate. Leadership's happy. Leadership's watching all their numbers. Everybody's doing their job. But if that social media content that your marketing person is putting out tells a different story about the community than what your sales team is sharing once they get there, and when that buyer talks to your online sales counselor and they get a different story from them, now they're like, okay, this is like working with three different companies. And that sounds really dramatic. And it is like saying, oh, this is three different companies is a very dramatic way to say it. However, the outcome is the same. They start losing that trust. So a lot of times, all of those departments and all of those people, they're working on the same goal, but they're coming at it with different priorities. And that's not really taken into account when you look at the entire buyer journey. So the result from that is buyers feel like there's different departments rather than feeling like I've had one cohesive journey. So let's talk about each one of those pieces and let's talk about the 5 places where I feel like this buyer journey can break down and what we can do about it. So a lot of times our buyers are going to interact with us or find us first from an ad. A lot of times I see a lot of builder ads, they talk about the lifestyle, they talk about the community, the area that this person wants to move to. And so the buyer's going to click on that and they're going to land on a page that talks about square footage, pricing, inventory, and the story is completely different. I see this so often because you're wanting to pull them in, whether they're coming from Facebook ad or if they're coming from a Google ad, you want to pull them in to like this life and this emotional place that they are going to be living in and how it's going to change their life. That's great. But when they land on the landing page and it's all like data, feature, that story disappears and they lose that sense of excitement and the reason that they clicked on that ad. Now they're going to decide that super fast and then click off, right? So the key takeaway there is when you're doing your ads, make sure that the landing page that you are sending these people to continues the conversation that the ad started. That's so important. And I know that a lot of builders, you want to get that ad up, right? Or you want to get that ad up, you want to get that landing page up, that your community's coming soon. Like we got to, which is true. And I agree. Like we want to get it up as early as possible so we can start those VIP lists, right? But you want to make sure you have enough information, you have enough photos, you have enough to build a cohesive start to that journey because you never get that first impression back. Now, the second thing that's going to happen is they're going to look through your website, right? So they're going to be searching through all the different pages on your site, learning who you are as a builder, learning what floor plans you offer, learning which ones they like best, and really trying to decide if you're the builder for them. So if the website feels modern and polished and it's really inspiring and they're really connecting with it, and then they're going to make an appointment to come out to the model home. So when they get there, if it feels like it's transactional or they're like just getting a bunch of features or the experience of the community didn't match what was promised online, that disorganization equals distrust. And that's what happened with me when I was walking through some of these communities. I was like, wow, this just looked so different online. And the experience with that person that I had was so different than the experience with the website, who in my mind is like a person, right? I've already had a conversation and it's not continuing. So making sure that what you know is on the website, that your salespeople are totally bought into that as well. They understand the lifestyle of this community. They understand what you're actually marketing and talk with them because they're there every day. A lot of us in marketing, we're not there at the community every day. So we don't know when these things are coming. We don't know when things are updated. We don't know what people are jiving with, what everyone's excited about. So we have to ask those questions. We have to communicate so that we can properly market for the content that we actually have. The other thing that's huge here is your OSC can really be the link here because they're also talking with all those buyers. They're hearing a lot of the questions that they have. And if you have a great OSC, they're following up with that buyer after the appointment too, potentially. So they're hearing, oh, when they stopped by, here was what they liked, here's what they didn't like. And so that information can be a really great way to audit your website and the other marketing efforts that you're doing to make sure it's aligning with what people are actually experiencing. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, this is a big one, and it's probably the most controversial that I'll talk about. So this has happened, and I notice it a lot when I walk into model home sales centers, especially when I've been working on all of these amazing marketing materials, right? We've got flyers and a whole folder that we hand our buyers, and we've got all these different assets that are beautiful and branded and created for the builder, right? And I'm always so excited to see those things in person because people do like to be handed something when they come in. And that's just one of my favorite things to create for a builder. But I see it almost every time is when I walk in, there will be a flyer, a price sheet, or a available home sheet, or an incentive sheet that's handed to me that was created in Word or created in Canva, and it does not have the same feel as the rest of that collateral. Now, I want to preface this by saying the goal of this conversation is not to control your sales team. It's not to control people and be like, you are not allowed to create anything if marketing doesn't have a say in it and whatever. My point here is equipping your team with better tools. Your sales team is going to need to create things really quickly. Things move quickly, things move fast. They've got goals, they've got their metrics they're trying to meet. It's going to come up that they're going to need something right away, and marketing's going to either be too busy, take too long. It's just not going to work out, right? So we need to equip people with templates and tools that they can use so that the marketing that you've created and the brand story and all of that brand guidelines that all of us in marketing work so hard on is actually followed and it is able to be applied. Because nothing tells me that attention to detail is not important more than getting just like random flyers designed from all over the place and things that are outdated or like we crossed that out and wrote it on. Like that type of stuff. It's like we're in a rush. We're just trying to sell you something. This was really fast. And that's never the intent of those materials being created. We really need to think about in marketing, how can we equip our team with better tools to do their jobs better and to make sure that we have processes as well to mitigate as much as we can. Like I know a lot of builders, they get into these rush positions because they didn't plan ahead or because somebody's been super busy and didn't send the email to marketing when they should have, and or they didn't plan ahead far enough. Making sure that you have a process in place for how your marketing team works along with sales. How long can sales expect things to take? What's the process to get things done so that they have trust in the system? Your marketing team has what they need, and your sales team is able to actually get the assets that they require for your buyers. So I think this one is one of the biggest things, and I see it so often that I really feel like if every builder would just go into their model homes or go into their sales center and look and check and make sure every sign and every piece of collateral that you see is designed using the same brand system, I bet you almost every builder would find something that's not. And those are so many opportunities just waiting to build a better experience from our buyers. Now, next, I want to talk about follow-up emails. Now, this is something that I've also experienced, is where I will go on a builder website and fill out a form saying, I am interested in XYZ community. And I then get just inundated with all of their marketing needs, which I love because I love to see what builders are sending out. I honestly like looking at marketing emails from any type of company. It just gives me a lot of inspiration. However, when I see that email come in and I've said, I want XYZ community, and they're talking about ABC community, I'm like, come on, I did not want this. Now I'm irritated. And it's just really, I guess, it's like going into your doctor's office and then asking you all those questions, the nurse asking all those questions, and then you have to tell the doctor all the same things all over again. It's like annoying. And so the experience for the buyer is they are in this process right now. They have the most important moment is right after the buyer has inquired about something, right? And so if they ask, hey, is this floor plan going to be ready for me? I want to move in June. And the response is, here's every home that we offer. It's like, okay, like that's not helpful. And so the buyers just, did they even care about what I put on that form? Like, what's happening? And because a lot of those emails come very quickly, they're like automated responses, which I agree with. I think automated responses are great. You should have something so that they know that their form submission worked and all of that. But if it's really just like completely left field of what they put in, you're going to start causing frustration. The other thing that I see a lot is after a buyer has been on a beautifully designed website, and in the building industry, we really do. We put in a ton of effort into our websites, and they have this great website experience, and they get emails that are designed like they look like they're from a different company, or they're just shoddy put together, or they sound completely different. Again, that's going to be a red flag, right? I'm going to see that and I'm going to be like, oh, that's strange. Like they were saying all over their website that they were wanting me to sign up for this VIP list. And then when I sign up, I don't feel like a VIP. It's like, excitement goes down. So making sure that all of your follow-up is one, personalized, and two, doesn't feel generic. It feels like part of the same experience. Now, I've talked about a bunch of things and a bunch of different areas where these connections happen. And it's really important for our buyers, but it's also really important for AI. And I know everybody wants to talk about AI right now. So I want to shift into this other angle of what your branding can do for AI. So we know that AI is changing how buyers are discovering us and finding us. And we know that people are typing into ChatGPT all their questions about where they should buy a home and which builder they should go with and all of these things. And all of us out here are hoping that we're showing up, right? But I want to talk about how the AI decides and analyzes information and decides how to show or what builders to show to each person who's typing in the chat. And AI works very similar to how our buyers are researching online. It's going to go onto your website. So look at your website content. So look at your blog articles. We'll look at all those landing pages. It's going to go over to your social content. Look at that. It's going to look at your ads. Everything that it can find about you online, it's going to quickly analyze, and it's going to try to understand a few things about you. So it's trying to understand who you are. It's trying to understand what you specialize in and whether your brand is trustworthy. And a lot of that trustworthiness is consistency. And a lot of that, like what you specialize in, is like, are you different from other builders, right? Because when someone types in, I'm looking for a builder in this area that, has these type of houses, it's going to be like, okay, I've got all the builders in that area. How do I decide which one's going to be best for this person's prompt? And so it's looking at how you're different and how that aligns up with the buyer or the person who's chatting. So if your messaging across all of those platforms is fragmented, the AI is going to get confused, just like a buyer would. But if everything's aligned and it can see in the structured data, which is just the backend code that AI and other search engines use to understand the content on your website, if that is aligned and it can tell, oh, this is the same builder as this website and this social media, those go together. That's the same builder. And they have this other article over here. And I know that's the same name and that's the same builder and they're talking about the same community. If all of that lines up, AI recognizes that as authority. It's like, oh, they know what they're talking about in this area. And so it's going to rank that in its algorithm as a higher chance of getting shown to that buyer because it thinks that you know what you're talking about. So not only does this consistency that I'm talking about increase your buyer trust, it also increases your SEO and your AI discoverability, which is huge and really makes this so much more important as to why we need to do this. So I want to give you a little bit of like an audit that you can run. Now, step one for this audit is to go to your ads. Now, most builders have ads, and if you go to your top ad, look at the ad and then look at your landing page that it links to. Do they match? Read the content out loud. Read everything that's in the ad, read everything that's on the landing page, compare the two. Is it a continuation of the story? Then I want you to click to your homepage. I want you to read that. We have to remember that a lot of our buyers do not enter our process from our homepage, even though that's the first page that we focus on a lot of times. And it seems like a natural starting point. You've got people coming in from all different pages. So when you're auditing your site, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to come in from all different pages and then go to the homepage. Read it aloud. Number one, does it sound human? Does it sound like someone actually wrote it and not an AI? Does it sound like you? Does it have personality? Does it show what's actually important to you? Does it show what's different about you? Read everything as if you've never seen it before in your life. Then I want you to fill out your own forms. Now, OSCs and anyone working online and our sales and marketing team should be doing this periodically just to make sure that everything's working, right? Fill out your forms and see what happens next. Make sure you're getting emails that align with what you put in. Make sure that the emails that come through aren't broken or have fields that aren't filled out correctly. Make sure that it's personalized and make sure that, again, you're getting a continuation of the same story. Make sure that the voice in your emails matches the website voice. Is this the same company? If you didn't see that logo, would you know it was the same company? And then finally, I want you as a marketer to sit down with your OSC and ask them questions about what their buyers are asking, what kind of questions their marketing doesn't answer, and how you could support the education of the buyers that your OSC is talking to now. I think that question reveals the biggest gaps in the fastest way possible. And I think it's something that so many marketers really should do more. You should set up that monthly meeting or quarterly meeting with your OSC to really dig into their day to day, what they're hearing from our buyers, where the pain points are, where the questions are, what communities are doing the best, and really talk to them about the people and not just the numbers. So, all of that said, I want to bring us back to the core idea of this whole episode. The builders who are doing the best right now and who are getting the most sales and are feeling the most secure in this crazy market that we're in are not the ones who are spending more on marketing. And I really want to pull back on that. Like, we need more leads, so we got to do more marketing. No, the ones who are doing the best are really digging into their buyer journey. They're ensuring that every touch point reinforces the same story so that your buyers don't experience the ads and the website and the emails and the sales conversations all separately. They experience them as one brand and one journey. And that trust grows throughout that consistency. So if this episode made you think about your buyer journey and maybe you're not really sure if all of those things are working together, I would love to talk to you about that. That is something that I am super passionate about. And I've seen so much opportunity with so many of the builders that I work with. It's just aligning things with marketing, sales, the experience, your buyers, all these pieces, and making sure that there's actually one cohesive strategy throughout. It's something that I'm really excited about. It's I love doing. So if you'd like to chat about that, I would love to chat with you. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like and follow the podcast. I usually have a lot of guests on. I talk to some amazing people in our industry, and I do episodes like this where it's just me. So if you would like to hear more, please like this episode, subscribe to the podcast, do all the internet things, and comment below because I would love to also hear your questions. So thank you so much for listening, everybody, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye.